Hello class 11 students. I hope you people are taking good care of yourself. Today we'll start chapter number 1 and the name of the chapter is Physical World. So let's start it. Chapter number 1 Physical World is all about the basic information of the subject physics. But before we begin with physics, we should know that what is science? How would you define science? Science is knowledge attained through study or practice. Actually, it is derived from the Sanskrit word shastra and Arabic word ilm, and their meaning is organized knowledge. So it is a systemized and organized knowledge about the various natural phenomena which is obtained by careful experimentation, keen observation, and accurate reasoning. So science refers to a system of acquiring knowledge. This system uses observation and experimentation to describe and explain natural phenomena. The term science also refers to the organized body of knowledge people have gained using that particular system. If I talk about the types of sciences, there are two types of sciences: biological sciences and physical sciences. In biological sciences, the sciences which deal with the behavior of living things are called biological sciences. It includes botany, zoology, forensic science, etc. And if I talk about physical sciences, there are two main physical sciences, physics and chemistry. In chemistry, we study about substance, its structure, its composition, and changes in which it takes part. But in physics, it is the study of the natural world which deals with the concepts of space, time, motion, matter, energy, radiation. So out of these two biological sciences, we will be dealing with physical sciences, and in physical sciences, we will be dealing with our subject, that is physics. Scientific method. Actually, what is scientific method? The step-by-step approach used by a scientist in studying natural phenomena and establishing laws which govern these phenomena is called scientific method. And this method, it involves many steps. These steps are as follows. Scientists, they make observations, they collect data that led to a question, then they formulate and objectively test hypotheses by experiments, then they do experiments. Then after this, they interpret results and revise the hypothesis if necessary. And then at last, they state conclusion in a form that can be evaluated by others. And this continues. So it is a method which is used by scientists to study natural phenomena and to form laws and to establish laws which can govern these phenomena. No single procedure is taken in an experiment. Actually, in science, no theory is final. No procedure is final. Every time they are doing new experiment, every time they are putting new theories, because time to time things changes. A theory must be able to explain what may be observed from time to time. For this, I can give you a very simple example. Initially, it was imagined by Nicolaus Copernicus that the orbits in solar system, we talk about orbits, they are circular. Then John Kepler examined, and then whatever was imagined by Nicolaus Copernicus, that planetary circular orbits are there, they are replaced by elliptical orbits to fit the data better. So this is how the theory changes time to time, because no theory is final yet. What is physics? Actually, it is derived from the Greek word physis, whose meaning is nature or natural things. This word was introduced by ancient scientist Aristotle in the year 350 BC. The Sanskrit equivalent of physics is bhautiki, which refers to the physical world. It is the science of matter, energy, space, and time. We can say that it is the branch of science that deals with the study of basic laws of nature and their manifestation in various natural phenomena. It is concerned with the interaction of matter with matter or with energy. It deals with various features of the natural world such as space, time, motion, etc. So physics is the most fundamental of all sciences, as it is concerned with the study of various natural phenomena. The scope of physics is very wide. Every event which occurs around us in our daily life is governed by one or the other principle of physics. So physics plays a very, very important role in our life. Now, if we talk about the two basic quests in physics, the two principal thrusts in physics, so they are unification and reductionism. If I talk about unification, unification means what? That if we want to explain various physical phenomena in terms of just few concepts, then we use the word unification. Like a very simple example I can give you, that we know this thing that an apple fall towards the earth. Okay, motion of the moon around the earth, motion of the planets around the sun. So all these things can be explained by one term, that is gravitation. So the Newton's law of gravitation can be used to describe the motion of a body which is falling towards the earth, motion of the moon around the earth, and motion of planets around the sun. It means what? With one law, with one concept, many things are explained together. So this is known as what? Unification. So this is the first quest in physics. The second one is reductionism. If we want to explain a macroscopic system in terms of microscopic things, then we use the word reductionism. Macroscopic, I think we understand. Macroscopic and microscopic. Microscopic means which is very smaller in size. Macroscopic means which is, larger in size. So if we want to explain macroscopic system in terms of microscopic, if we are able to explain macroscopic things in terms of microscopic properties or in terms of microscopic constituent, then we call it what? Reductionism. So for example, like in thermodynamics, we study macroscopic properties like temperature, internal energy, entropy. All these properties are explained in terms of molecules, their kinetic energy. So this is how we are studying macroscopic property with the help of microscopic particles, or with the help of microscopic properties, is known as what? Reductionism. So I think this thing is clear, that what are the two basic quests in physics, that is unification and reductionism. Next is branches of physics. Actually, physics has two main domains of study, macroscopic and microscopic. In macroscopic, we talk about classical physics or classical mechanics. We can say that classical physics, it deals with the macroscopic phenomena, which may be at the laboratory, astronomical scales. And it includes branches like mechanics, optics, thermodynamics, and electrodynamics. And if we talk about the microscopic phenomena, then comes quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics deals with microscopic phenomena at the minute scales of atoms, molecules, and nuclei. So it is very simple. When we talk about macroscopic phenomena, the physics is called classical physics or classical mechanics. When we are dealing with microscopic phenomena like atoms, molecules, and nuclei, quantum mechanics we study, or the physics is called as what? Quantum mechanics. Now, if the speed increases, if the speed is comparable to the speed of light, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, then what comes? Relativistic mechanics. And here, quantum mechanics, in place of quantum mechanics, then we use these terms, quantum field theory. So here we are talking about size as well as we are talking about speed. So if the size is big, if we are talking about macroscopic phenomena, we talk about classical mechanics. And if we talk about microscopic phenomena, we talk about quantum mechanics. And at the same time, if the speed increases and if it is comparable to the speed of light, then we talk about, for macroscopic phenomena, relativistic mechanics, and for microscopic phenomena, quantum field theory. So I think this thing is clear, that how according to size, how according to speed, we have different branches of physics or disciplines in physics. So if we talk about the sub-disciplines in physics, here they are. Mechanics. What is mechanics? It deals with the motion and its causes. It is based on laws of gravitation. Vibration and waves. In vibration and waves, we talk about periodic motion. We know what is periodic motion. If we talk about atomic branch in physics, in this we talk about atoms, structure of atom, energy associated with atomic changes. Then comes nuclear, structure of the nuclear energy associated with nuclear changes. So this is how it deals with the nucleus, all the studies related to nucleus. Then comes electromagnetism. In electromagnetism, we talk about electricity, we talk about magnetism, we talk about electromagnetic waves. So it deals with the electric and magnetic phenomena associated with the charge and magnetic bodies. It is based on the laws which are given by, Coulomb, Ampere, Faraday. Then optics, it deals with the nature and propagation of light. It deals with the formation of images by mirrors, lenses, etc. Then thermodynamics. In thermodynamics, we study about the macroscopic system in equilibrium and is concerned with the changes in internal energy, temperature, entropy of the system. So here we study about the efficiency of heat engines and refrigerators. So I think this thing is clear that what are the branches in physics. So if we talk about these, nuclear and atomic, so they comes under quantum mechanics. And if we talk about electromagnetism, optics, thermodynamics, mechanics, they comes under classical physics. So I think this thing is clear that what are the branches in physics and how they deal with different things. In detail, we will study them later. Actually, we are dealing with a very basic chapter. So we will not study everything in detail. Okay. Next is, actually it simply gives us an idea that what is the scope of physics. Actually, the scope of physics is very vast. It is truly vast. It covers wide ranges of mass, length, time, energy, etc. The mass of an object can vary from 10 to the power minus 30 kg, that is mass of an electron, to 10 to the power 55 kg, that is mass of the universe. That's why it is written over here. From quark to cosmos. What is quark? An elementary particle which is present inside the nucleus. We know what is nucleus and what is the size of the nucleus. And cosmos means we are talking about universe. So how physics deals with, or how physics deals from quark to cosmos. So these are this is what physics actually, how through different branches, through different disciplines, it has covered a huge range, a wide range. Like if I talk about the length of the object in physics, it can vary from 10 to the power minus 14 meter to 10 to the power 26 meter. What is 10 to the power minus 14 meter? Size of the nucleus. To 10 to the power 26 meter, that is the size of the universe. If we talk about the range in time, the time interval, it can vary from 10 to the power minus 22 second to 10 to the power 18 second. 10 to the power minus 22 second is the time taken by light to cross a nuclear distance, and 10 to the power 18 second is the life of the sun. So these are the wide ranges which are covered by physics. So the scope of physics is truly very vast. Physics in relation to science, society, and technology. Actually, the fate of a society is closely linked to physics. Whatever is discovered in physics, it immediately affects the society. Actually, we know this thing. Today we live in this world, and how much we use technology, and now we can say that how we cannot imagine our life without technology, without physics. So this is how we people have a strong connection with physics. So technology has also a very important part in a society. People reach another level, countries grow, economy grows because technology and inventions appear and help people produce. Technology help communication development also. Communication technology in society is recognized by all the gadgets and all the things through which people communicate easily. For example, mobile phones or computers and internet. Each day something new appears and brings us to another level. So this was about communication. But a part of communication too, we have so many things around us. Like the launching of satellites into space. The development of alternative sources of energy is of great importance to the mankind. The discoveries of radio and television have made possible the instantaneous communication with other parts of the world. If I talk about lasers, computers, superconductivity, nuclear energy, they have entirely changed the thinking and the living style of the human beings. The modern science in general and physics in particular has the potentiality to eradicate poverty and hunger from the surface of the earth. But on the other hand, a wrong use of discoveries of physics may bring about a disaster. The knowledge of physics can be applied alike to the creation of heaven on the earth or to the total annihilation. Our wiseness lies in applying physics to solve the pressing problems the society faces and not to annihilate it. So, physics has both the faces. You can have heaven on the earth and you can even destroy the earth with physics. So, it is in our hands how we want to use this subject. Today, we see the application of physics in every walk of life. The application of physics have played a key role in the development of technology, in the development of society. How human civilization has taken place, how industrial revolution has taken place. The subject physics plays a major role in all these things. Like if we talk about electromagnetic waves, they are used in radio, they're used in television, they're used in wireless communication. It was given by physics. If we talk about X-rays are used in radiotherapy in detecting fractures or dislocation in bones. Study of thermodynamics, it has helped a lot to design heat engines which have revolutionized the industry. The study of electricity has led to the development of electrical appliances like motors, generators, which are the backbone of industry. If we talk about the discovery of silicon chips, which has brought a revolution in computer industry as well. Radioactive isotopes are now being widely used in medicine, agriculture, and industry. If we talk about Newton's concept of gravitation, it is used in geostationary satellite, which helps us in forecasting weather and in geophysical survey. The concepts of modern electronics find extensive use in telephone exchange, robots, etc. Geothermal energy, that is the how we can define it. It is the heat in the depth of the earth, which is being used these days. The tidal energy in the oceans and solar energy too can be converted into other forms of energy. These technologies have made our lives comfortable and materially prosperous. Sometimes physics generate new technology. At other times, technology gives rise to new physics. Both have a direct impact on society. So I think this thing is clear that how physics is important for us, how physics plays a vital role in our lives, and how we can use this in both the ways, in favor of us or in against of us. Next, we have the 4 fundamental forces of nature. In the macroscopic world, we observe several kinds of forces: muscular forces, contact forces of support and friction, forces exerted by springs and strings, viscous forces, electric forces, magnetic forces, etc., etc. All these forces between macroscopic objects arise from 2 fundamental forces, that is gravitational force and electromagnetic force. So if we talk about macroscopic object, we talk about gravitational force and electromagnetism or electromagnetic force. And when we talk about microscopic world, so in microscopic world we have 2 other forces. Strong interaction, weak interaction is written over here, but basically they are strong nuclear force and weak nuclear force. So the things are very simple. We are going to study about the fundamental forces of nature. When we are dealing with macroscopic objects, we will talk about electromagnetic force and gravitational force. When we will be dealing with microscopic objects, we will talk about strong nuclear force and weak nuclear force. But right now we are not discussing them. We will discuss them in detail in my next lecture.